Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, this works.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So is there anything that you have any, because I came in here hearing that you had issues with the SAT English?
Yes. Yeah. Anyway,
Right.
especially reading part.
Mm-hmm. So I just opened up a practice test example. If you want to go through it, we can.
I mean, yeah, sure. Wait, how long is the class? She said 20 minutes, right?
20 minutes or something. We can do this like one passage probably.
All right.
So is there any testing techniques that you do, or do you just like go straight into it? Do you like read the questions before?
I try to go over the read of passage first, and just I can tell, like from the questions, like asking, so I can go back at least, like the area that like the question asked me.
Mm.
But it's not that like efficient, I guess. That's why I don't get the like high grade.
Okay, so let's try going through the questions first. Let's see how many questions this one has.
Okay.
10. So first question, which choice best describes what happens in the passage? And it says one character argues with another who intrudes on her home. B, one character receives a surprising request from another character. C, one character reminisces about choices she has made over the years. And D, one character criticizes another character for pursuing an unexpected course of action. Are there any like words that throw you off here? Or you find like, you know what reminisce means, you know what criticize means?
What's the reminisce?
Reminisce, like kind of like reflect or think back on.
Ah, okay.
Reminisce. So that's another thing you need to, that's why it's good to read through the passages prior. So you can kind of like you know what to look for, or do you know what it's asking? So like if little words like that trip you up, it's good to kind of like figure that out. So 2, which choice best describes the developmental pattern of the passage? So it's like, this is good to keep in mind prior to reading, so you don't have to go back repeatedly. So it's asking you how the passage, like, is there a pattern in how it's written? Like it's asking how it's written. So a careful analysis of a traditional practice, or B, a detailed depiction of a meaningful encounter, a definitive response, or a cheerful recounting. So once again, look for any words that trip you up, or kind of like break down what it's asking. A careful analysis, just a very careful observation of what's happening. Or B, a detailed depiction of a meaningful encounter. It's pretty straightforward. The definitive response to a series of questions. Is it like interview style? Is it asking questions like that? Or a cheerful recounting of amusing anecdote. Like, do you know what that means? Or like, it's like an example, sort of like telling a story. So here, number 3, as used in line 1, in line 65, directly most nearly means frankly, confidently, without mediation, or D, with precision. So you can go back for that one, but you might need context, so you'll have to read the passage again. And 4, which reaction does Akira most fear from Chi? She will consider his proposal inappropriate. She will mistake his earnestness for immaturity, and she will consider his unscheduled visit an imposition, which is like just rude. And D, she will underestimate the sincerity of his emotion. So let's just focus on these 4 with the time we have. So then after that, now you kind of know what to look for, which is what's happening in the passage, how is the passage developed, what does that's pretty easy context, and then what reaction does Akira most fear? So you have to keep in mind Akira's relationship with Chi. So it'd be, if you read through the passage here, Akira came directly, breaking all tradition. Was that it? Had he followed form? Had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between? Would she have been more receptive? He came on a winter's eve. He pounded on the door while a cold rain beat on the shuttered veranda. So at first she thought him only the wind. The maids knew better. She had heard her soft scuttling footsteps, the creak of the door. Then the maid brought a calling card to the drawing room for tea. She was reluctant to go to her guest. Perhaps she was feeling too cozy. She and Naomi were reading at a low table set atop a charcoal brazier. A thick quilt spread over the sides of the table so their legs were tucked inside with the heat. Who is it at this hour, in this weather? She questioned as she picked up the name card off the maid's lacquer tray. Shinoda Akira, Kobe Dental College. She read. Naomi recognized the name. She heard a soft intake of air. I think you should go. Akira was waiting in the entry. He was in his early 20s, slim, serious, wearing the black military-style uniform of a student. As he bowed his head, his hands hanging straight down, a black cap in one, a yellow oil paper umbrella in the other, she glanced beyond him. In the glistening surface of the courtyard's rain-drenched paving stones, she saw his reflection like a dark double. Madam, said Akira, forgive my disruption, but I come with a matter of urgency. His voice was soft, refined. He straightened and stole a deferential peek at her face. So here he meets Chi, and you could already tell that his the interaction so far is very polite. So that calls back to this question: what happens, or Akira most fear here? And it's so far you can basically cross out. Of course, the passage isn't done yet, so you can't say this with finality, but you can essentially cross out argue and criticize it so far. Like just keeping that in the back of your mind, because the beginning can paint how the rest of the interaction unfolds. In the dim light, his eyes shone with sincerity. She felt herself starting to like him. So that's already a note that it's going to probably be a positive interaction. Come inside, get out of this nasty night. Surely your business can wait for a moment or two. I don't want to trouble you. Normally I would approach you more properly, but I've received word of a position. I have an opportunity to go to America as a dentist for Seattle's Japanese community. Congratulations, she said with amusement. That is an opportunity, I'm sure, but how am I involved? So it's very calm, very friendly so far. Once nothing bad has happened, they're on the same level, conversing. Even noting Naomi's breathless reaction to the name card, she had no idea. Akira's message, delivered like a formal speech, filled her with a maternal amusement. You know how children speak so earnestly, so hurriedly, so endearingly about things that have no importance in an adult's mind. That's how she viewed him as a child. It was how she viewed Naomi. Even though Naomi was 18 and training endlessly in the arts needed to make a good marriage, she had made no effort to find her a husband. Akira blushed. Depending on your response, I may stay in Japan. I've come to ask for Naomi's hand. Suddenly she felt the dampness of the night. Does Naomi know anything of your ambitions? We have an understanding. Please don't judge my candidacy by this unseemliness of this proposal. I asked directly because of the use of a go-between takes much time. Either method comes down to the name thing, a matter of parental approval. If you give your consent, I become Naomi's Yoshi. We'll live in the house of Fuji. Without your consent, I must go to America to secure a new home for my bride. Eager to make his point, he'd been looking her full in the face. Abruptly, his voice turned gentle. I see I've startled you. My humble apologies. I take no more of your evening. My address is on my card. If you don't wish to contact me, I'll reapproach you in 2 weeks' time. Until then, good night. He bowed and left, taking her ease with effortless grace like a cat making off with a fish. And then you could just... And hear how she responds, where did you meet such a fellow? Imagine he thinks he can marry the Fuji heir and take her to America all in the snap of his fingers. T waited for Naomi's ripe laughter. Naomi was silent. She stood full half-minute, looking straight into Chi's eyes. Finally she spoke. I met him at my literary meeting. Naomi turned back to the house, then stopped her. Mother? Yes, I mean to have him. Okay, so that's the end of the passage. So just kind of recount what happened. Akira approached Chi to ask for her daughter's hand in marriage. because he wants to go to America with her.
Okay.
So it's good to like summarize after. So here you can look at question 1. Which choice best describes what happens in the passage? Did they argue? Did they fight or anything? No. So D, did they criticize? No. They're pretty polite and well behaved. So did they reminisce? Did anyone bring up like history? No, he was talking about the future. He was like, I'm going to bring your daughter to America. So that immediately makes the answer B, receives a surprising request from another character, request in which Kira was asking for the daughter's hand in marriage. What you wouldn't say reminisce, that could throw you off because towards the end, they're talking about like where she met him, but it wasn't the goal. It definitely wasn't the goal of this entire passage. That's something I think would throw people off. So number 2, which choice best describes the developmental pattern of the passage? A careful analysis, a detailed depiction, definitive response, or a cheerful recounting? Let me open up something. Detailed depiction of, okay, was it a careful analysis? Like,
no, it was not analysis at all.
What about a detailed depiction of a meaningful encounter? Do you think this encounter was meaningful or like?
I don't think it was like that. Like nothing like focusing about meaningful.
If him asking for the like hand in marriage, right?
Yeah, that is. I mean, can be meaningful, but like I don't think
that's
so, like,
meaningful. But like, just keep that on the back burner because you can't exactly cross it out yet. Or a definitive response to a series of questions. Was there a series of questions, or did he just ask like one? There was one, so that crosses that out. Or a cheerful recounting. Recounting would mean like thinking back on a memory. Is this a memory?
Was the anecdote? Anecdote, whatever. Yeah. What was the meaning of the anecdote? The last one. The last word.
Was this cheerful?
Oh no, like the anecdote. Like that was the meaning of the last word. Yeah,
anecdote.
Anecdote. Yeah, anecdote.
But the key word here is cheerful. Do you think this is cheerful?
I don't know. So it's B.
Because look, towards the end. Yeah, it wouldn't be cheerful because especially here towards the end, Naomi's kind of awkward. Like you could tell. She was waiting for Naomi's ripe laughter. Naomi was silent. She stood a full half minute looking straight into Chi's eyes. Finally, she spoke. This was maybe, she was unsettled. I think that if you look here, let me see. Suddenly, she felt the dampness of the night. Like dampness of the night, she felt like, oh, the weight of the situation. So it definitely wouldn't be cheerful. So that does leave it to like as B. A surprising, detailed depiction of a meaningful encounter. Used in line 1 and line 65, directly most nearly means. So line 1, Akira came directly, breaking all tradition. So he came. In that sense, it would be him arriving like immediately, right? Because like here, he had followed form. He had asked his mother to approach in between, like he went straight to them.
Right.
And so 65, ask directly because of the go between takes much time. So frankly, confidently, without mediation, or with precision. Frankly means to be blunt.
It's not frankly.
So confidently, was he confident? Well, he did apologize a lot, didn't he? He was like, my bad.
So. Yeah.
Like if you look into his dialogue,
like being polite.
You wouldn't arrive like all confidently and then suddenly like start speaking shy or without mediation. Were the people surprised by his arrival? Was he unexpected?
Yeah, he was unexpected.
So that's the most likely one, or with precision. Was he? No, that wouldn't really work with accuracy. So this would be without mediation.
Without mediation.
So here, the next question, which reaction does Akira most fear from Chi? She will consider his proposal inappropriate.
No.
She'll make mistakes. She will mistake his earnestness for immaturity. She will consider his unscheduled visit an imposition. She will underestimate the sincerity of his emotions. So, was there a portion here in which we'll discuss the inappropriate part? Namely, you'll want to look at the dialogue because this entire passage is spoken from Chi's perspective, right?
Yes.
So most that you're going to learn from Akira will be through his voice and how he introduces himself. In some body language, but mainly in how he speaks. So here, Madame, forgive my disruption, but I come with a matter of urgency. So he's speaking very politely. Keep note of that. Trouble, congratulations. In here, this might throw people off, this entire portion. Akira's message, delivered like a formal speech, filled her with a maternal amusement. You know how children speak so earnestly, so hurriedly, so endearingly about things that have no importance in an adult's mind. That's how she viewed him as a child. So this might throw you off, but that is how Chi perceives him. But what we're asking is, how does Akira perceive Chi? So we can keep looking. Let's do. Is it B? Here, well, then we'll go through. So that's, it would be B if we were talking about this from Chi's perspective.
Wait.
Yeah, we're looking for evidence of Akira's perspective.
Okay.
Wasn't there a note on?
I mean, that wasn't on schedule, like basically. I mean,
the fact that he didn't follow the usual steps, right?
All right.
Breaking all tradition.
Popped up from
he did. Yeah. So, and then in line, see, 60, here. We have an understanding. Please don't judge my candidacy. That's honesty. By the unseemliness of this proposal, I ask directly because of the use of a go-between takes much time. Either method comes down to the same thing, a matter of parental approval. If you give your consent, I become Naomi's Yoshi. Will live in the house of Fuji. Without your consent, I must go to America to secure a home for my new bride. So if he's asking, like, we have an understanding, please don't judge my candidacy by the unseemliness of this proposal. He's asking, like, please don't judge my directness for these, like, improper proposal.
Oh, yeah, right.
So does this mean that he fears that she will consider his proposal inappropriate? She will consider his unscheduled visit an imposition. She will underestimate the sincerity of his emotions. Well, so far we've knocked B out because that's her perspective of him. Here, she will consider his unscheduled visit an imposition. Is there any point in here in which she is kind of threatened by his presence? Because she's pretty playful, almost playful with it, very casual. So would you consider that she's threatened by his imposition?
Not really.
No, so that knocks down C, because imposition is usually like accompanied by negative connotation. So she will underestimate the sincerity of his emotions. Is there any evidence in which there's Akira comments on whether he thinks that she will properly grasp his emotions? Is he trying to relay his feelings?
Isn't like the kind of like more beginning of the passage?
The beginning here?
Not like a little bit down. So because I think Are
you looking for his dialogue?
Yes.
I should color code this later. I don't want to trouble you. I've received word. Or do right here? Is there a point in this passage in which he wants to state his sincerity? Like he brings really like emotion into it. Like he's like, I
Like, don't judge that part. Isn't it
don't
like,
judge.
because like, yeah, he's like trying to like impress, like, just don't judge me by like, just popped out from nowhere and then just asking for
So
like
there are top
proposal
two
directly.
answers. She will consider his proposal inappropriate, or she will underestimate the sincerity of his emotions. Does he really bring like emotion into this? Like if you were to bring emotion, you'd be like, I love your daughter or something like that. Does he at any point say that? Does he bring like emotion? Because if you look at his dialogue, he's making like a list of promises, right? He's like, or he's kind of
really.
striking a deal.
More like more close
So
to
it
the
would be
answer.
inappropriate. She'll consider his proposal inappropriate because he did like approach her inappropriately without following the usual steps, right? So that would be A. Okay, and we can.
Like I was asking for the like the like number 4 is related to the like
That's
like
why
the
I
line
wanted to cover
questions
it.
like 4 and 5 are like together, and then like sometimes I still like the questions, and then if I go like to the back and they're asking me like what's the like which lines like they relate to the previous question, I was like I could like go back and then like looked it up and then went back to like the passage and then looked up the part they like talk about like go back, and then after like or something like spend like 5 minutes on that question and then find out like
it's a lot of reading.
It's too much work for me.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, typically you can get like some of these questions done beforehand. I don't know, but still helps. Which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to your previous question?
So we found it was C, wasn't it?
This one was A.
Yeah, like and then
consider inappropriate. So line 33, his voice refined. 33. His voice was soft, refined. He straightened his stole differential peak. That doesn't really relate to inappropriate, no. That's more like a compliment on his behavior. 49 to 51, you mind. 49 to 51. Maternal amusement.
You know how children speak so honestly, so hurriedly, and so endearingly about things that have no importance in the other's mind.
We commented this earlier, but this is Chi to Akira. This isn't Akira to Chi, right?
Yes, it's not.
This would support like this one, but our answer is A. So no.
I think we should do it because she said proposal. Like, please, that proposal.
63, 64. Yes.
Yeah, we have an understanding. Please don't judge my candidacy by the unseen illness of this proposal.
Wait. So does that tie in? Is he like pardoning himself for his inappropriate execution of his proposal?
Oh yeah.
So that does fit the best, but just in case. 71, 72. Eager to make his point, he'd been looking her full in the face. Abruptly, his voice turned gentle. Does that do anything? No.
We didn't even look at the part, to find out the answer.
So the best one would be C. Please, proposal.
Right.
In the passage, Akira addresses Chi with affection but not genuine love, objectivity but not complete partiality, amusement but not mocking disparagement, respect but not utter defense. So this is a kind of a question where you kind of have to review to make sure you know the words or what it's asking.
Yeah.
So affection.
No.
Not genuine love.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't think the A is the answer, but
objectivity but not complete impartiality. So it's kind of like looking at it without bias, but not complete unbiased. Amusement. Is he looking at her amusingly?
No.
With but not mocking disparagement. Mocking disparagement would be like making fun of you. Actually, this would match Chi to Akira again. Remember how she called him a child?
Oh yeah.
So that would be her. And then respect, but not utter deference. Deference, like respect, but not completely like blah.
Mm.
Does he approach her with respect? We're just gonna work backwards this time.
Oh, does he? Oh yeah. I mean, respect, like politely.
Mm-hmm. But utter deference. Deference is similarly like to respect with this like underlying humbleness.
But
So
he said
this would
like
be
so.
saying.
He says sorry a lot. So
So this is saying he's approaching her with respect, but he's not completely like letting her take control of the conversation. Like these questions become harder if you don't know the word. And so this is respect, but he's not letting her define the entire conversation, right? Because he makes attempts to reason with her, right? Like he raises this deal, like he lists his points, correct? Like here we have a understanding. Please don't judge my candidacy by the unseemliness of this proposal. So he's not completely letting her walk all over him in the conversation. That's kind of what. So I think since we're running, we've been here for a while. We're just gonna go through this a little quicker, but
respect, but not utter difference.
yes, that would be the right answer because he doesn't approach her with affection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Objectivity, but not complete impartiality. That'd be objectivity. Like he doesn't necessarily approach her like that because he has a bias. He has a Naomi, right? In this conversation. So no. And this is just she to him, calling him a child. So the main purpose of the first paragraph.
I know why.
Akira came directly, breaking all tradition. Was that it? Had he followed form, had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between, would she have been more perceptive or receptive? So let's go back to this. The main purpose of the first paragraph is to describe a culture, criticize a tradition, question a suggestion, or D, analyze a reaction. Is culture really described here?
No, it's I mean, it's mentioned like just breaking like whatever the curse, but like not really.
But it doesn't
like
really
breaking tradition,
describe
yeah,
it. It's simply
it's
kind of
not.
like
It's
says.
not.
So does it criticize the tradition?
No.
Like does it criticize? No, it just states that he did this wrong. Question a suggestion. Is there a suggestion even brought up?
No.
Mm-mm.
Wait. No.
It just says he arrives.
Yes.
The only question here was, would she have been more receptive? But that's not a suggestion. It's kind of like just questioning his actions. Where am I? Oh.
Okay.
Analyze a reaction.
Oh.
Did he analyze a reaction here?
No.
Here.
Wait.
Would she have been more receptive? Was that analyzing her reaction?
No. Wait.
He was questioning her response,
yeah,
right?
So C.
So it'd be D.
Is it D?
It's D. Analyze a reaction. Because this all builds up to C. It describes what he did. Right? Was that it? He was breaking tradition.
Yes.
Had he followed form, it's like if he had done it accordingly, would she have responded to him? Okay.
Yeah.
You just read it carefully. Sometimes they're just worded really badly. Used in line 2, form most nearly means
nature.
Appearance, custom, structure, nature. So had he followed form? Had he asked his mother? So form here is describe what? Now let me just read this question really quick. Form, appearance, custom, structure. So what's describing his appearance?
Apparent,
Like his face?
appearances? Yeah.
Does it describe his face here or like no?
No.
Then does it this is really annoying to scroll, but does it custom?
Custom
The
means as
custom, the
a.
marriage custom.
Oh yeah, but I think that isn't B gonna be answered.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I
Because
mean,
it
because
doesn't really
nature
question
is not nature
structure.
sounds like what can nature
No,
doesn't make any sense. And
nature's not
obviously,
even mentioned.
mm,
And then why does Akira say his meeting with Chi is a matter of urgency? Line 32. He fears that his own parents will disapprove of Naomi. Are his own parents really mentioned in this entire passage?
his parents, not really. No,
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 he doesn't really bring up his
no,
parents.
no.
They're only mentioned in the first paragraph when he's like, "What if I had
Oh, he
asked
was
my
asking.
parents?" That was it. But after that, they're not really mentioned at all. B, he worries that Naomi will reject him and marry someone else.
No, wait. No, no,
No, he's
no.
not concerned about
Yeah,
that at all.
he
He
got
has been
confidence.
offered an attractive job in another country where he knows that she's unaware of his feelings for Naomi. So line 32. But I come with a matter of urgency. So what does he tell Chi during this entire interaction? Doesn't he asked her if he can marry Naomi and that he has an offer in America, right? So does that narrow down our see, I've received word of a position. I have an opportunity to go to America as
So
a
that's
dentist.
C,
So that narrows it down.
the opportunity.
C.
Yeah.
Which choice provides the best
No.
evidence for the answer to the previous question? Line 39, I, don't, you, normally community, depending Japan, ICU. So this is just
The one we just
information.
looked through. Yeah.
39, I don't want to trouble you. Normally, I would approach you more properly, but I've received word of a position. So that's
B.
basically what we referred to.
B.
B. Or A. I can't read. Or yeah, B.
Yeah, 39 through 42.
So do you want to do another passage or do you want to break?
Wait. Are we just going over a reading part or?
This is part of the reading.
No, yeah, I mean, are we just going over a reading section?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're not going over grammar writing section.
You want to?
I mean, that's kind of can give me a break time instead of extra break.
Here, let me find it.
Should we build
Here.
section 1?
Writing and language.
Yes, writing language.
Okay, Greek yogurt, where to go? Greek yogurt, a strained form of culture yogurt.
Actually, I think I saw this passage from somewhere, from the extra test or maybe practice test. But I think I forgot everything, so yeah, I can go.
Okay. See, Greek yogurt. All right. So for these questions, you don't really need to read the passage too much. You could, because you can go through them really quickly. You just need context, if anything. So one, change. Greek yogurt, outdo the potential drawbacks of its production. Outdo, defeat, outperform, outweigh. So given these solutions, as well as the many health benefits of the food, the advantages of Greek yogurt outdo the potential drawbacks of this. So is it trying to outperform? Is there a competition here? No. So
either A or D.
You can refuse defeat. You can get outperform, because those are the same thing, right? Defeat, outperform. So it's no change or outweigh. Outdo also insinuates that there's an opponent or something that you're trying to defeat, right? These are the same words. So obviously that means it's outweigh. So which choice provides the most relevant detail? Supplement and people can make their own Greek-style yogurt at home by straining regular yogurt. So
B.
B.
D. Someone say shortest one, like if they look similar, and then shortest one is the answer. That's what's my idea. Yeah. I mean, it was right. It was like at least like 90% accuracy. So I just go
90%.
for it every single time. If I feel like it's like similar, if it's like a shortest one, then that's the answer.
We'll like go through the questions here. They can add it to a livestock feed as a protein supplement, and people can make their own Greek-style yogurt at home by straining regular yogurt. If it is improperly introduced to the environment, add acid whey runoff. So you kind of have to read around sometimes for these.
Yeah.
So relevant detail, supplement and convert it into gas to use as fuel in electricity production. So this is talking about, what is this talking about? Environmental problem, right? And it's talking to address the problem of disposal. So what we're looking for is how to best handle like the waste from the product, because it's directly asking to address the problem of disposal.
Oh wait, yeah, this one is not the similar. I just noticed it. Okay, I just noticed it.
So that's why it's good to like, for questions like these, when details, you have to read the paragraph it's from.
Okay,
so that would be B, supplement and convert it into gas. This is talking about waste.
The problem.
3. So it's another grammar question. Can pollute waterways, depleting oxygen content of streams and rivers as it decomposes. Is if it is improperly introduced into the environment, can pollute waterways, could have polluted waterways, has polluted waterways. Is this question no change, because this is asking for like ownership, and it's just multiple waterways. No.
Yeah.
So you're correct. For scientists and government officials, so this is a semicolon. That's to connect two main ideas, or two
independent clause.
Food scientists, it's connecting two full sentences.
Okay.
Independent and dependent, independent and dependent, and it connects them both. So is yogurt manufacturers, food scientists, is that a full sentence?
Yogurt manufacturers?
I wouldn't say so. Like it just states yogurt manufacturers, food scientists. It's stating
then C.
Two ideas. C. Yeah, then that's C, because it's not full sentences.
It's just a list.
To make this paragraph most logical, go away. Mommy, go away. Okay, to make this paragraph logical, sentence 5 should be replaced. Sentence 5 should be replaced where it is now, after sentence 1, after sentence 2, after sentence 3.
Wait, so which sentence? Wait, is it since yogurt is a sentence or what? Wait.
So we're moving.
Which sentence?
We're moving.
Like? So is it B? I mean, after the 5, right? Acting like a sentence 5. So like the sentence before the 5, or the after 5.
Moving.
Yeah, it should be before 5. So it start from like yogurt, right?
Starting with yogurt, yes.
Manufacturers, food, scientists, and government officials.
This is sentence 5. The brackets here.
Oh wait.
Yeah, they're hard to see. That's why I have to look closely.
Okay.
If it is improperly introduced into the environment, acid whey runoff can pollute waterways, depleting the oxygen content of streams and rivers as it decomposes.
Okay.
So the choice is where it is now, after sentence 1, after sentence 2, after sentence 3. So wait, 1, 2, 3. 1.
Yeah.
The main environmental problems caused by the production of Greek yogurt is the creation of acid whey as a byproduct, because can you really shove it in here? Because the next sentence starts with because, right?
Yeah.
This is explaining this, so you can't exactly just shove it in there. The next is 2 after 2. Because it requires up to 4 times more milk to make than conventional yogurt does, Greek yogurt produces large amounts of acid whey, which is difficult to dispose of. So question 5, if it is improperly introduced into the environment. This discusses what happens when it is improperly introduced into the environment. And this is why, which describing the disposal. Do you think that this would go well behind the sentence?
Oh.
Would it be logical here? Let me reword it to something more easier to understand.
Okay,
Would it be logical to say that it's difficult to dispose of, and then after would you follow up with what happens when it is disposed of improperly? Because you're still talking about disposal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
that's possible. That's the best one so far.
Positive.
D, sentence 3. To address the problem of disposal, farmers have found a large number of uses for acid whey. So would it be best to go from saying difficult to dispose, what it does, in an alternative? Would you say the alternative last? So
yeah.
So it'd be best behind sentence 2, right?
Because I mean, even though sentence 4 is where three talked about like the acid way, so it's kind of like a following plot, I guess.
That would best be after sentence 5.
No, yeah, like not like the numbers. Hold on, after
the numbers are throwing me off.
After sentence 2, yeah.
Yeah, after sentence 2, because after that you can put sentence 3 after. It's kind of a way to close that idea, right?
Right.
Right. So it's best to sometimes leave off on a more lighthearted note. The writer is considering deleting this underlined sentence. Should the writer do this? Though these conservation methods can be costly and time-consuming,
no.
they're well worth the effort.
The augmented wait.
Nutritionists consider Greek yogurt to be a healthy food. So first we need to see if this sentence doesn't matter, doesn't need to be here. Though these conservation methods can be costly and time-consuming, they are well worth the effort. So it's saying that although it's worth the, it's straightforward, it's worth the effort. Nutritionists consider Greek yogurt to be a healthy food, is an excellent source of calcium and protein, serves to be digestive aid, and it contains few calories. So does this need to be here? Because this is talking about the methods that is for like conserving it. And this is talking about the health. Does it need to be there?
No.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't, because that's 2 different ideas. They're clashing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't want to introduce one idea and then suddenly run into another one.
Oh, yes, C.
So we are left with C or D, which is no. No, because it continues the explanation of how acid whey can be disposed of safely.
Should
no, because it sets up the argument in the paragraph.
Wait, hold on. So it's one either A or B, so it's not provide a transition from the previous paragraph, so it's A.
So if you're saying yes, that means that this sentence should stay. Do you think 6 should stay?
No, I mean the question is that the writer is considering deleting the underlying sentence. Should the writer do this?
This one here, though these conservative methods.
Just take it up. So yes.
Take it out. So it'd be either C or D.
Wait. The question asking the writer is considering deleting the underlying sentence. So
should he
if
delete
I say
this
yes with the deleting the underlying sentence, then it's gonna be gone. So they're asking,
are
you gonna delete this underlying sentence? Yes. So yeah, either A or B. If I say no, then just stay there.
So yes, because it does not provide a transition from the previous paragraph. Yes, because it fails to support.
Looks in order, I guess.
Okay. So yes, it does not provide it. Yes, yes, it should be deleted.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Does not provide a transition because it fails to support introduced in the first paragraph. 7. Nutritionists consider Greek yogurt to be a healthy food. It is an excellent source of calcium and protein. It serves to be a digestive aid, and it contains few. Oh, what am I reading? So 7, Greek yogurt to be a healthy food is an excellent source of calcium and protein. Serves to be a digestive aid.
4, digestive aid.
Serves to be.
Wait.
Serves.
Serves 4 digestive aid. I mean, calcium and proteins. Is it? Wait.
Read it out loud.
Okay.
Serves as a digestive aid.
No.
Serves like a digestive
serves
aid.
For,
or serves for.
Serves for are most sounds right. Wait. Serves for a digestive aid. No.
The thing for that, you have to consider the relationship between
like
the two
calcium
ideas.
And protein. Well, like it's not gonna be as digestive aid. So not gonna be long.
Well, if you're asking as, this is a good way to insert it. If you're asking as, you should be able to say, is calcium and protein serve? Okay, calcium protein serves as a digestive aid. If you word it like that, you can also reword it as calcium and protein is calcium and protein is a digestive aid. Can you say that?
Yes.
If you can say that, then as should work.
Oh,
because it's stating it as is, right?
Oh yeah, right. You're right.
A source of calcium and protein serves as a digestive aid. Calcium and protein is a digestive aid. So that would be more like it. Because you wouldn't say like, because like is too like, it's like, but is not completely right.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to, but it is. So 4 would be serve for because it's this is hard to explain. Oh my goodness, English is hard. Well, like I said earlier, calcium and protein serve as a digestive aid is more accurate or more correct. So 8, it contains few calories and it's unsweetened, low in non-fat forms.
C.
So 8, C? Yeah, contains.
And contains.
That's correct. So and it contains few. Because it already stated it. It doesn't need to use it twice. It's already here.
It doesn't have to be mentioned.
9. Also, because it's more concentrated, Greek yogurt contains slightly more protein per serving, thereby helping people stay. Wait, is there more? Okay, that's different. Helping people stay. So no change. Oh, this is no change. In other words, therefore, instance. Is this adding to the previous idea?
Greek yogurt is slightly lower.
Because it's talking about the sugar and carbohydrates, and then it's still discussing what's in it, like the calories and stuff and proteins per serving. So does also still work? Because it's still talking about
also
it. Also
because no, it's not sounds right.
Also because it's just adding to the idea, right? It's more
also because.
Yes.
Also why don't you just say weird. Because why would you add like something?
If you're adding also, it's just because
why would you add it?
It's just transitions. It's just to say that this idea is related to this previous idea. So they're just expanding. They wrote it weird, but
yeah, I'm saying exactly.
Yeah, but it's still the most correct because you wouldn't say in other words, therefore an instance.
For instance.
Because in other words, if you say in other words, you'd be restating the previous idea. In other words, I will restate this idea.
But just talking like more, like because whatever, blah blah blah.
Yes, sure. Because it's saying also because it's just further explaining the previous idea. Therefore would be like because it is like this, it is therefore it is this. Is it like comparing two things like that? No. Like a cause and effect?
Yeah. Wait,
Is
no, it's not causing effect.
no cause and effect.
It's
That would be therefore.
more.
The transitional words, you just need to figure those out. And then, for instance,
No.
it's not giving an example. No. So this would be no change. Like, even if it sounds weird, this is the most appropriate so far because it is further explaining this with this. It's just more information about the nutrition and stuff. Okay, 10. Satiated for longer periods of time. Fulfilled, complacent, sufficient.
Can I see the previous sentence, like the before? Yeah.
Contains slightly more protein per serving, therefore helping people stay. Do you know what satiated means? Like satisfied.
Like how thick, like
It's like satisfied.
Yeah. Wait.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, right. You're right.
Does having more protein in each serving help people stay satisfied?
Or satisfying.
That would work, right?
Yes.
Because it's satisfying high hunger.
For a longer period of time.
So that works.
Oh, that works.
That works. You don't need to change it.
Yeah. No change.
No change. So here, and sell it, therefore farmers and businesses.
Just B.
B, you're right, correct.
Yeah.
For farmers and businesses. All right, so that was B. So the questions that you're struggling with are more of these, right?
Just transition.
Transitional words.
I mean, it's just a little bit confused. That's why.
Yeah,
I get it, but like
you need to just, I don't know. It's just knowing when to use it. It's awkward, and like there's also like on top of knowing when to use it, you should know how to use it. Like therefore, also, so on.
Mm-hmm.
So dark snow. Most of Greenland's interior is covered by thick. 12. Which choice more accurately and effectively represents the information in the graph? No change, 12 degrees Fahrenheit. The lowest point, December 12. Okay, so the information here. How do you save it from us? Average high, daily, average high. 12 degrees.
I'm still like, yeah.
So to as low as 20 degrees. So you just need to compare this information to the graph and see if it's wrong. Is there anything lower than 20 degrees on this graph?
The first one, the average daily? No. The high,
goes down to 12.
Like high? I mean, for the low, yeah.
Yeah, if you're asking for as low, it goes down to 12 as the lowest. So that would be wrong. That would be B. You change that.
Okay.
That was pretty straightforward. I was just blanking out. Yeah. Which choice most effectively combines two sentences at the underlined portion? A, summer following. Correct. So 14. For example, in the summer of 2012, virtually the entire Greenland ice sheet underwent thawing. So, for example, no change, however, as such, moreover. This follows several weeks of high temperatures. However, in the summer of 2012, virtually the entire ice sheet underwent thawing. Or does that sound right? Like it states, this follows several weeks of higher temperatures. However, it became like it's saying the.
Talk about like the other, like the contrast.
Apparent contrast. Would that work? However,
Maybe.
It would work.
However, yeah, it could work.
This follows several weeks of higher temperatures as such. Does that work? Because as such is like the same, like, does it have cause and effect? This follows several weeks of high temperatures. Does the high temperatures cause the thawing at the earliest date of record?
Well, are we still on number 14?
You're still on 14. Wait,
Okay.
where are you satisfied with the answer though? Like B?
Yeah, B, however, because it's contrast. Yeah.
Okay. We can just move on then. But Jason Box, an associate professor of geology at Ohio State, believes that another factor added to the early 16th thaw, the dark. Oh, I'm still going. Box, an associate professor. Okay. Jason Box, an associate professor.
Jason Box is the name, right? Box is the last name?
Yes.
Okay. C?
So, C? Or D?
Yeah. C.
B?
C.
C. Yeah, because this is a detail.
Yeah.
Since it's an extra detail, you add commas there. 16. Thaw.
Okay.
Believes that another factor added to the early thaw, the dark snow problem.
A, no change.
No change?
Yeah.
You remember semicolons? Is the dark snow problem a full sentence?
The dark snow problem. Oh, no.
No, it just states the dark snow problem. It's just an idea or subject.
But, and it's not calling either. So, what is it, B? And it was the dark snow problem.
And it was the dark snow problem, or it's asking for the best though. So, do you know how to use colons? These two.
Colons for the list and
for details.
Oh wait. Do you use colon for details as well? Wait.
You can use it for details, lists, and details. Is the dark snow problem a detail? Like,
I think it's more detail. Dark snow problem. Not the other name.
Yes, the name.
Yeah.
So that would be C. It's a bit trickier because you have to like know how to use all of the punctuation and stuff. It's annoying. Anyway. So 17. According to Box, 17, some of it drifted over Greenland in giant plumes of smoke.
It laid down the line portion. Some drifted it.
So some of it, some soot drifted, some of which, but here, so some of it, so soot's already mentioned, right?
Yes.
So we don't need to mention it again.
No reason.
So that's gone. Does this need to be deleted? Some drifted over Greenland.
Yeah. Doesn't need any just some drifted nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it being here. We're looking for the best. That's what's annoying about these grammar questions sometimes. It's looking for
you can take it up, you can take it up just go with some drifted over Greenland in China.
They're all viable. You just have to choose the best one.
Best.
That's annoying.
Somebody says less or simple is the best. So delete the underlying portion.
But we have to find keep reading everything. So of which does of which work? Because is this a formal? If you're asking this question, is this a formal paper? Like professional, right? It's like a research paper, right?
Right.
Because it has evidence and everything. So let's check of which. According to Box, a leading Greenland expert, tundra fires in 2012 from as far away as North America produced great amounts of soot, some of which drifted over Greenland in giant plumes of smoke. Would that work better for a research paper?
Some of which, no.
Some of which?
No, dude.
Because some of which...
It's not necessary. It's unnecessary. If I was a professor or something, I would add it or either. Because it's not necessary. I mean, you can do more clearly.
Oh, but what you have to keep in mind though is some of it drifted over Greenland in giant plumes of smoke. And then the biggest issue here is that if you put soot here, let's just go through the word again. Some soot drifted over Greenland in giant plumes of smoke and fell. Would this turn this into a independent sentence? If you put soot here, that would turn this into an independent sentence, right? Mm-hmm. Some soot. We're trying to keep these sentences together. Right. So, some drifted over Greenland in giant plumes of smoke and then fell. That still makes it an independent sentence. What you're trying to do is keep this sentence connected to this one via comma. It's hard to explain, but in this case, of which would work better because it's still some of which drifted over Greenland. It's still connecting the sentence to the previous one. Does this make sense or no?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, just sure. It's hard to explain, but it's trying to make that sentence dependent, or that portion still dependent to this or this part according to box. 18, fell as particles onto the ice sheets. Because the verb, all right, so 18, fell, and then fell as particles onto the ice sheet. Fell works. No change. No change. Limiting its ability to, is its one first thing, is this?
It is.
Limiting it is ability, but no. Is this ownership?
No. Wait.
It's
songs, plays, wait.
It's limiting this snow and ice.
Limiting it is.
Limiting its ability to reflect the sun. So snow and
there.
Ice. So there.
No.
Which one?
No.
But here's, okay, so it's asking about snow and ice. Would snow and ice be, since we already know this is ownership, right?
Yeah.
Because it's discussing snow and ice. Is snow and ice two things or one thing?
Two.
So that would be D, because this is plural. Okay. Limiting their ability. So just another thing to remember if you're looking at this and there's a question like this, you need to know if this is asking about two things or one thing, or
plural.
This is limiting its ability or limiting their ability. That's, so D is the correct one here.
I was right.
Okay. Which choice best completes the description of a self-reinforcing cycle? No change. Raising the surface. It's traditional melting. Okay. So the result is a self-reinforcing cycle. As ice melts, the land and water under the ice become exposed. And since land and water are darker than snow, the surface absorbs more heat, which is related to the rising temperatures. So what is this paragraph about? Like in the previous paragraph, we just read that it's about the soot particles facilitate melting by darkening snow and ice. Soot is a powerful absorber. It settles over the ice, captures sun heat. So it's talking about melting and how the soot captures the heat of the sun. So it's a self-reinforcing cycle. As the ice melts, the land and water under the ice become exposed. So it's just So is this entire thing related to the changing temperatures, or is it about, this is hard to explain. Well, do you understand this question at all?
I do. It's just
So it's
yeah. Well,
yeah.
yes.
So,
So
what does this cycle do? The ice
we,
melts, the land and water and the ice become exposed, and since land and water are darker than snow, the surface absorbs even more heat, which is related to. So this cycle is introducing what? Raising surface temperature, begins to cool at a certain point, or does it lead to melting? Is this a cycle? Is there a lot of melting going on in the cycle? Like as the ice melts, the land and water become exposed, and surface absorbing more heat. What does that naturally lead to? More
it goes up.
Melting.
Yeah.
Leads to more melting. So D would be the proper or correct answer. It wouldn't be cooling at a certain point. That's not mentioned here at all. No.
But it's still raising the temperature. I mean, the more melting means like more higher like temperature.
Yes, more temperatures. But I only say additional melting. It's that answer because it is repeating the cycle.
And then
right?
it's saying if they're more like higher temperature, that leads to the
so higher temperature. It would be higher temperature, but this is talking about the description of the cycle here. So like as the ice melts, the land and water and the ice become exposed, and since land and water are darker than snow, the surface absorbs even more heat. Like this isn't necessarily like discussing the temperature itself. It's discussing the effects of the temperature, right?
Yes.
So it's saying the surface absorbs even more heat. So you're not going to mention the surface temperature at all raising because it's already like saying that the surface is absorbing, right? So as a result, that'd be you talking about melting. If that makes sense. I don't know.
It makes sense.
So 21. The pattern box observed in 2012 may repeat itself again with harmful effects. B. B is the correct answer. 22. To make this paragraph more logical, sentence 4 should be placed. This one again.
The box is currently organizing an expedition to gather this information.
So what is this paragraph? Sentence 4 is box is currently organizing an expedition to gather this crucial information. So first, you need to find where it is discussing this organization that box is setting up, right? Because it says currently, meaning that you'd put the sentence after it's already mentioned, like his expedition.
Yeah.
So here, the next step for Box and his team is to travel to Greenland to perform direct sampling of the ice in order to determine just how much soot is contributing to the melting ice sheet.
Is it after sentence 5?
It would be after sentence 5 because that's where it mentions Box is currently. So it'd be more natural to follow it up there. Right. Because all the other sentences, like 1, 2, where it is now, the expedition isn't even mentioned at all. Yeah. Creative solution. When I left my office job as a website developer at a small company. Wait, do you want to take a break?
No, like, wait, how long is it?
We doing it for like an hour. Whoops.
I mean, like what was it like the time that we start? Like how long we had to do? Cause I was like, even though like whenever having class, like kind of.
We've been here for an hour actually, like exactly an hour.
When did you even start though? Like almost like around 4, like and like late 3 o'clock, like right
It
before
started
4.
at 3:45.
Oh, I was confused because she told me I'm gonna have like it's like a quick just conversation, I guess like 20 minutes,
We
and
went
like
too long. Whoops.
yeah, that's all like just confusing, like the entire time. But I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but like I was just confused.
Yeah, we can stop now.
I guess so, 'cause, yeah.
All right, and that's done.
Yep.
Bye.
But